Welcome to On the Clock here on Forward Progress. Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks on the clock. And again, a very special guest for today by popular demand. He was on with me Wednesday earlier this week, breaking down the New York Jets. He's a professional NFL bettor based in Germany, one of the best NFL bettors in the entire world. And we're going to have him break down the Seattle Seahawks with us today. Fabian Sommer, live from Germany. How are things going?
Rob, how are things going? The intro was even better than last time. Thank you very much.
2 days now for you to reflect on our previous Jets video. Anything that you've lost any sleep over, you would have changed over the course of the last couple of days?
I think in hindsight, I would have tried to trade down in the second round a little bit more aggressively. I know that there was only the offer or the best offer from the Bengals going down from 42 to 60. But I think in hindsight, I probably would have tried to get a future 2024 pick or something for that to drop down and maybe add more picks in the later rounds.
Well, overall, we earned an A- grade. We keep it consistent here on the clock on Forward Progress. There's a bunch of videos that you can check out. If you're new here, we've done a bunch already, and we'll be doing a bunch more. So make sure you're subscribed to Forward Progress here. All the content that we put together, get notified in real time. And of course, there's a playlist on this channel as well with all the past mock drafts we have done. Shifting to the Seattle Seahawks. Before we get into the actual draft for this year, I just want your perspective on the Seahawks, because to me, they're very much a team that has a wide range of outcomes next year, right? Nobody expected them to do anything last season. Geno Smith has a killer year. A lot of the draft picks that they made the year prior turned out to be big hits. They finished 9-8. That kind of came out of nowhere. I've seen people picking them to fall off big time. I've seen people picking them to possibly even win the division because there's big time uncertainty with the 49ers at quarterback and with the Rams in terms of their overall depth. What are your thoughts on the Seahawks going into the 2023 season?
I think they have the big benefit of playing in the NFC. I think in the AFC, no one would pick them to be a playoff contender or to make the wildcard run. But I think in the NFC right now, they have the chance to win their own division. And I think in that conference, they are a strong wildcard contender, again, in my opinion. They have a great young core of some great young players, great draft last season. They got Geno Smith under contract, who basically gives them a nice floor. They still have some weapons. Defense should be a little bit better this year. So, I mean, the Rams, we have no clue how they're going to be. They basically have Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and a bunch of no-names. Aaron Donald, sorry. But other than that, a bunch of no-names. Quarterback uncertainty for the Niners. And I think no one is taking the Cardinals serious as of right now.
I also think the Seahawks have quietly had a good free agency so far. They re-signed Geno Smith, 3 years, $105 million. I know he's a 32-year-old quarterback, but he's like that bridge quarterback I think that the franchise needs right now. They lost Rashad Penny to the Eagles. I mean, it's a shame that he broke his fibula last year, but running back, I don't want to say dime a dozen, but not a huge loss. They lose Cody Barton to Washington. Cody Barton has really struggled in coverage in recent years. I don't think that's a big loss, but they've addressed some positions of weakness. They bring Bobby Wagner back. They signed Julian Love at safety from the Giants. Yeah. Devin Bush comes over from the Steelers. Devin Bush hasn't had a great career. He's still only 25, and he was a 10th overall pick in a previous draft. Draymond Jones from the Broncos comes over, 26-year-old Evan Brown from the Lions. They've been pretty active in free agency here and bringing up their depth chart going into the draft this year. Let's take a look at their offense overall, Suma. Tell me what you see top to bottom. For me, I can tell you immediately what stands out is the wide receiver position. After DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, there's just a monumental drop-off.
Absolutely agree. And I think Tyler Lockett is 30 years old already. So he's probably on the wrong side of his career arc. Tight end position is solid, but I also would not hate them to add some young blood there throughout the draft. But yeah, wide receiver, they have to address that position. I mean, one injury to either Lockett or Metcalf, and that group is cooked, in my opinion. They lost their starting center, Austin Blythe. They signed Evan Brown, who played guard for the Lions, but the Seahawks said that they expect him to play center. I don't know exactly whether that already solves their hole at center. I still would expect them to draft one. Also, they could use more interior line depth. But yeah, those two are probably are going to be my main focus in the draft: wide receiver and interior offensive line.
Now, the Seahawks do have the 5th overall pick, and the likelihood of having a quarterback available to them there is also going to be high. So we'll have to approach that when it comes, because Geno Smith had an above average year last year, but like I said, 32 years old. Drew Lock's not going to be the answer for them in the long run. So they're probably going to have to address that in some shape or form. Defensively, tell me what you see here, Suma.
Defensively, Jamal Adams will be back. I'm not a big Jamal Adams fan, but I think if used properly, playing near the line of scrimmage, he can do some damage. He's a great blitzer. I think he will add some run support. I'm a big fan of Kendrick Diggs. I'm a fan of Julian Love. So I think in terms of safety, the Seahawks should be pretty good. Terry Gould had a great year last year as a rookie. I think they still need some cornerback depth. Mm-hmm. Linebacker, they should be good because Jordan Brooks will be back at some point. I think he had a Achilles injury.
He did, yes.
ACL?
It was a leg. It was leg. You might be right. It might have been ACL.
Okay. So he will probably be back at some point, October, November, December. So I rather see Bobby Wagner as a 1-year stopgap. And let's see how much Devin Bush can improve as a 25-year-old with 4 years under his belt. And defensive line. Draymond Jones, yes, solid. Jalen Reed, solid. Jalen Voss had a great year last year for the Seahawks, but they need to add more pieces to the defensive line. They need a second edge defender opposite of Nvoso. They need more beef on the interior line. So basically looking at defensive tackle, edge rusher, cornerback depth.
Yeah, you're reading my mind on a lot of this stuff here. Definitely with the Seahawks last year, they lacked a pass rush. So to get quality edge rushers, I think would be huge. I like the signing of Draymond Jones from the Broncos, but the Seahawks got killed at the line of scrimmage against power running games last year, games against San Francisco, for example, right? And they have a lot of that within the division. Look at their schedule this year. They have some power running opponents against them. Wouldn't mind seeing them add like a big run stopping defensive tackle either. So I think just defensive line, frankly, is if there's players available, that's the biggest area to address on the defensive side of the ball, because overall, I think that's what hurt them the most last year. So I think we're seeing eye to eye in terms of how we're going to approach this draft. So we'll get right into it. Seahawks are 5th overall. That's who we're drafting. We're doing 7 rounds. We're going to start this draft very slowly, and we're going to keep the same settings we always do at pff.com, which is their default settings. Keep it consistent over the course of these next few weeks. We'll enter the draft. Any consideration to trading up to get the quarterback of our choice, or is that just completely off the table?
We can pause at pick 3 and see who's left, because Colts are going to take a quarterback, and I would not hate if the Seahawks really try to get their quarterback of the future. They are in such a unique position because they got a quarterback who can play for the next 2 years, and they're picking in the top 5 while already being a playoff contender. So there's no pressure to play a rookie in week 1. They got their quarterback, and they can take a guy like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis or Hendon Hooker later in the draft and really let that guy develop behind Geno Smith.
Just pointing out here that PFF has identified the Seahawks' needs as guard, center, defensive line. We both agree with those. I would add wide receiver and quarterback into that mix as well. So that's what we're looking at, I think, as positions of need overall. So we're going to get started here, and we're going to pause after the Texans make their pick at number 2. So CJ Stroud, number 1. Anthony Richardson, number 2.
So we could get Bryce Young here.
So we could trade up for Bryce Young. Now, to see what would that cost us? It would cost us, I mean, not too much, right? Like we could try to get away with it for a 4th or 5th round pick.
That seems super super low. I would have guessed you would need to send at least a 2nd round pick. I mean, the Colts got 3 2nd round picks from the Jets to trade up from 6 to 3 a few years back. So
if we do send the 2nd round pick, it will get accepted. So, I mean, I think there's a couple things in play here. For one, Arizona does not have a ton of leverage, I would say, with this pick because they're not going to take a quarterback. And Indy knows that. I mean, I just don't think that they have the leverage to dangle this as like, okay, it's worth a ton type of situation. Would we be comfortable like lowballing them and just seeing if we can brute force a trade here, basically?
I think if Bryce Young is there, I would probably send a pick number 52 easily.
Okay, so let's start with 123. It probably gets rejected, and we'll work our way up. Rejected. So we'll go to 83. Rejected. So now it's 52. They're going to take this offer in almost certainty. So are you fine with me proposing this?
Yes. Maybe we can get like pick 180 back from them.
Yeah, good call. Or like even a little bit higher. 105. Try for 105. I believe we have 5 trade attempts before it will not allow us to try anymore. So we'll try 105. Okay, we're on the clock.
Nice.
So we're going Bryce Young, right? Like it's a no-brainer.
Yes.
This is why we made the trade. I'm very interested to see who they have just out of curiosity. We're going to make the pick. Deshaun Watson. Is the comp.
Interesting.
He's smaller, but I can see it. Anyways, I'm a fan of doing this. It's nice that we traded up one time. Now I'm going to pause. And our next pick is at number 20. So do you want me to sim it slowly through there? Or would you want to just get to 20?
We can get to 20. I would love to trade down a few spots there.
Agreed. So we're going to fly to 20 here and see what happens. I saw Will Levis go to the Colts at 4, I believe, just really quickly. Yeah, Will Levis at 4. Yep. And your Jets that we did the video for on Wednesday, Paris Johnson Jr.
Paris Johnson.
All right. So we're on the clock. Let's see what the trade offers are.
Yeah.
So the 29th is the lowest, is the Saints, and they're interested. Yeah. In terms of players available, Kancey fills a need big time, I would say. Mm-hmm. As does Brian Breesy. Nolan Smith, edge rusher, 22.
Nolan Smith is also very interesting.
He sure is. And I will say this, like we're basically making a call here. Here's what I will say. Having done a bunch of these already, there's very likely going to be edge rushers available at 29, 30, 31.
Yeah.
It is very unlikely there's going to be a good interior defender available there. But there will be edge rushers. It's a matter of whether or not we like Nolan Smith a lot more than the options that are going to be available there. Will McDonald, Felix Anudike-Uzomah is always there. Sometimes BJ Ojulari, brother of Aziz. So we're going to have options there. I'll leave this to you, but Nolan Smith, let's take a look at. Had a very good last 2 seasons.
Has to be a Hassan Reddick, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it's Baron Browning. I think very highly of. Like he tore his pec this year against Florida. Maybe, I mean, that's a small concern, but he's pretty fast defender.
Let's see what the Saints would give us for a trade down.
Okay. I always just start with the next pick. Doesn't work. So for sure they'd give us 71 and 115. We could try to get 29 and 40 and give them a pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But probably has to be 105 at least.
Yep. I could try with 105.
Yeah.
Let's give it a go. Rejected.
Okay.
We tried. Do we want to give up 83?
At first glance, that doesn't look like a great trade for us.
No, unless we recoup another pick somewhere else, or maybe next year, like a 4th rounder, or 3rd rounder, 2025, something like that.
Yeah, let's try to get 40.
Yep.
And give them maybe a late round pick in 2024.
So I already have 40 locked, 29 and 40.
Yeah.
For 20 and 83.
Yeah. So let's try to avoid giving up 83 and maybe offer something from 2024.
It would almost certainly have to be our round 3 next year. Yeah.
So we go down 9 spots and at 40 for round 3 next year.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like a bad trade because we are basically getting a early mid 2nd round pick.
Yep.
And are giving up a round 3 pick where we think it's going to be in the low 20s anyway.
Yep. I'm good to offer this.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, that's done. We have more draft capital for this year. So we'll be drafting 29, 37, and 40. Okay. Holy geez. We don't need a tackle, but Anton Harrison is available there.
Yeah.
Will McDonald.
Will McDonald is very intriguing. We need an edge player, and he's probably the best on the board at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of options here. Josh Downs is an option. I do think he's going to slip into the 2nd round in most drafts. We don't really need a corner. Yeah, I mean, I think honestly the options are
McDonald or probably a wide receiver.
Yeah, or trade out of this spot again.
What's our offer?
Texans at 33.
Oh, that's interesting. 3 for probably 104, maybe.
That one will go through for sure.
Okay.
This one will barely go through. So maybe we can take the 73 from Cleveland and add a late pick or something.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So we're picking 33, 37. Okay. So who went? Anton Harrison. We still have Will McDonald available to us. 33. I don't think this could have worked out any better. Unless we just want to go Josh Downs instead. But I think Will McDonald here is solid value.
Yes. I would go with McDonald as well.
Yeah. His comp, Julian Okwara, explosive dude. I love that as the pros. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Will McDonald.
Yes.
And we get to 37. Now, Josh Downs did go. Jalen Hyatt went. So wide receivers are coming off the board.
Okay.
DeJuan Jones is available.
Is John Michael Schmitz available? The center from Minnesota? Or is he gone already?
I will tell you. Well, I'll filter by position.
Okay.
Interior offensive line. He's there.
Oh, there. PFF
now his ADP
like him.
They don't. Let's see the scouting report. I mean, look at these player grades in college, man. He must not have like a skill set. Below average athlete for center by NFL standards. Will get exposed more at the second level. Older prospect, 24 as a rookie. Minnesota's scheme hid some of his deficiencies in pass protection. Shades of Ben Jones. If we got Ben Jones at that spot, that would be a great pick.
Yeah. He's excelling in an outside zone scheme, which makes sense for Seattle. And I've also heard that he killed the Senior Bowl and he was one of the best players. So I think taking him fills a major need. Seahawks get their franchise center, and we still have more picks to come.
Okay, now the question I have for you is, do we risk letting it go for 3 picks and take him at 40 instead of 37?
Good take. Very good take. Can you flip? Okay, there it is. Okay. So we already got an edge guy.
Honestly, I don't hate taking multiple edge guys either.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the very few teams in the league where you do that.
Is there any interior defensive lineman left?
Not in this range.
Not in that range.
No.
So how about we take that Felix Anudiki Uzoma?
Okay.
And then try to get one of the centers at 40.
That sounds like a plan. Let's go for it. And we have the interior O-line available to us at 40. Nice. So if you want to... Now, Steve Avila, could he play... I don't know enough about him to know if he can transition to center.
I don't either.
He played some center, but then moved to left guard last year for TCU.
Yeah.
Shades of Will Hernandez. Small hands for a guard prospect. So he probably cannot. Let's make the pick of the guy that we know can play center then.
Okay.
So we're going to go with John Michael Schmitz.
Yeah. I also think that 40 is a very good real life range for the guy.
Fair enough. Yeah, PFF will grade us a solid D for this, but we are addressing a position of need. I like it. John Michael Schmitz, Minnesota. Come on down. All right, we're going to 73 now. Holy geez, the Seahawks. I mean, we created a lot of these Seahawks picks with our draft, but they have a lot of picks. Nathaniel Dell is an option. I'm interested to see what the wide receiver available are. Michael Wilson as well, a little bit lower. What do you see that catches your eye at the top here?
Nathaniel Dell, absolutely.
Yeah. Because now we're getting into just tons of edge rushers, corners. These are not really anything we need. I think the Seahawks could really use a receiver here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agree. Let's take
Nathaniel Dell. Now we go to 83. And Tanner McKee, who's always, I believe me, he's always here. Garrett Williams, good value for corner, but I don't know. We're at the point in the draft now, mid to late third round, where I'm not so much in like, we need to take the positions of need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like taking players who fall to you. This could be a scenario, but Jamie Robinson, safety.
I like a cornerback, to be honest.
Corner?
Yeah, I like
if
that.
We
I mean, they're very high on Ruin and Kobe Bryant, but I still think that you can never have too many corners, and that group is still very young. And if they go into nickel or dime with more cornerbacks instead of safeties, they could use another guy.
Okay, we're good with Garrett Williams here?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, Garrett Williams. Now we're going down to 105, which will be in the 4th round, right at the beginning. We got this pick from Arizona in our trade earlier. So edge rusher in Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. Interior defender, Moro Ojomo, Texas. Now, this is just a PFF really high on him. We did not address interior defense, right?
Yes.
He's the best. It would be a bit of a reach, but there's not much. So I think we kind of got to make a decision at some point of whether we do want to address this position or just draft for value.
At some point, we also might look at running back for more depth.
Yep.
Maybe not now, but maybe if some guy like Dwayne McBride or Taji Spears is there at 123, I would not hate that.
I don't think Tyjae Spears will be there at 123. I'd be surprised, but maybe Deuce Vaughn will be there. Sean Tucker, either of these guys. Tyjae Spears, like these are incredible college grades. Now it's college, granted, but yeah. All right, we got to make a call.
Okay. Should we go with Texas guy, interior?
Yep, Moro Ojomo.
Okay.
Come on down. 123. We have Dwayne McBride, a halfback available. We have another interior defender, Kobe Turner, Deuce Vaughn, Kansas State. I think some people I've seen on Twitter have been pretty high on Deuce Vaughn. I don't know much about him.
Me neither.
More wide receiver options.
So right now, when the depth chart is correct, their second running back is DJ Dallas.
Correct.
And I'm not entirely sold on that. I think they could use another guy to take some snaps off of Kenneth Walker.
PFF seems to be really high on Dwayne McBride, UAB. Holy jeez. Now they won't have a comp for him yet. Oh, they do. Shades of Thomas Jones. Springy back. Okay, well, gets run down too easily in open field.
7.2 yards per carry for his career is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm happy to go with him.
Okay, let's go Dwayne McBride.
Dwayne McBride. Okay, we'll go down to 151, and let's see who falls into our lap. Got some edge rushers, more edge rushers available. Ronnie Hickman, safety. Jalen Moreno Cropper, wide receiver.
Can you open Jaja Diaby? Is he that hybrid off-ball edge guy, when I remember correctly?
Seems like possibly. I don't know if they're going to they don't have a report for him, so he's too far down for now.
Okay.
6'3", 263.
Maybe 263, okay. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you can never have enough pass rushers, correct?
I agree. And believe me, the Seahawks don't have enough, period.
Yeah. You could also take that Fehoko guy.
Fehoko, Yasir Abdullah. We basically have our pick of an edge rusher at this point. And I don't know enough about them.
Yes,
I'll probably would just go with the guy that has the lowest ADP.
Yeah.
Yasir Abdullah. We go down to 198, which I believe will be the end of round 6. Yep. We had an interior defender fall into our laps here.
Yeah.
More running back options. Center, Juice Scruggs. We kind of addressed center.
If there's one guy who can also play guard, we might add some interior beef.
Good point. Oh, we don't know. This is the challenge. He's played a lot of guard in his career. Has Juice Scruggs. I can take a look at Jake Andrews here as well, who has played 2 years of guard.
Okay.
Probably a decent bet.
Yeah.
All right. Jake Andrews.
Bad pass block great, but whatever.
Well, we're in the 6th round here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just hope you can develop him at that point.
Yeah.
And we go to 237 to round it out with our final pick. Quarterback, tackle.
Should we take a fly on another wide receiver?
I think so.
Justin Shorter is a great name.
I love it. Let's do it. Justin Shorter, Come on down. You're playing in Seattle. And that's going to conclude the draft. So we're going to get dinged big time on our center pick. But aside from that, I thought we did fairly well here.
Yeah. I think every Seahawks fan would take this draft in real life.
I agree. I mean, I forgot we got Bryce. We had an A+ trade. We got Bryce Young. We got Will McDonald. I mean, okay, yeah, John Michael Schmitz, bad pick overall, but
wow, A.
And we end with an A grade. This is as close. Like, I agree with you. If you're a Seahawks fan and this happened this year, you're ecstatic. You pick up a couple solid pass rushers, quarterback of the future, address offensive line, bring in a couple wide receivers, like address every position in need. You can't get much better than this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I agree. We killed this.
Pretty good job. Now, we're pretty high on ourselves. You can let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of the Seahawks draft? Also, do you think Bryce Young is going to be the guy? I know a lot of people are very hot and cold on whether they think Bryce Young can succeed in the NFL. Maybe he's too small. Maybe he isn't. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you did like the content, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed here on Forward Progress. For myself, Rob Pizzola, for Fabian Somer, this has been On the Clock with the Seattle Seahawks.